Alright, here's where we are with Coastie. As you can see, maybe not, there's like an inch or better between here and here. Goes down. And over here, it went down a little bit more. It used to come down, dip, and then come around. So what I had done was I fixed all the cracks using a mesh type tape that they would use for like sheetrock and things. And I filled that all in. I did use a little crazy glue and baking soda first just to hold the cracks together because they were wide open. And the more you look at it, the more you found out how large it was. So anyhow, after I got that done, I bondoed. So there's Bondo under there. I built it up about a ½ inch with some of that. And then I built it up again with fiberglass. And then I painted over it with that Flex Seal just to give me a coating over it all to seal it in. And at that point, then I sanded it down and sprayed it again. So that's where we're at. I put these on permanently instead of having the hooks up there with the rope that I had attached for tying it down. Well, as long as I was putting 1.5 inches of Bondo in there and fiberglass and everything else, I figured, well, let me just put these in here so they can attach to these. And it'll look a little bit neater than having these hanging. Now what I did do, what did I do? But anyway, that's all done all the way down. It was also cracked all the way down in here between the rear end and the frame. The frame is basically like an ABS plastic. And then the wheels are all on, as you can see, and that's all done. And then Ray came over so we can shove this back in place because it was first of all, it's heavy. Not super heavy, but it's heavy. And it's bulky. And you have 14 studs coming out of this that have to go into 14 holes. And it's a pain in the ass trying to get it all measured in and lined up. It really is. Nothing easy. So I got all that done. Then I have this underbody speaker system hooked up. The wires I have through the other side. And then, whoop, are we going to lose anything here? The connection on this camera goes wacky every now and then. So now I got to get on the other side and get into here because this gets bolted in through here. Now there are a couple of nuts, or bolts rather, coming through into here. As long as they don't fall out, we're fine. You'd think they would have put lock nuts on them to hold them in there, but no. You know, again, really, they could have made so many changes to this thing to make it easy. It would have cost them less to make it, and they still could have charged what they were charging. I mean, poor design. That's what there is to it. Anyway, that's where we're at. And then on the other side, yes, the other side. Go to the other. Let's get this out of the way. Okay. I'll end up tripping over it again anyway. Now, I may have showed some of this. I don't know. And I really don't know if I'm coming or going anymore, to be honest with you. Okay, now, this amplifier, which is for stereo, was down behind all this. So if that ever blew, you'd have to take all this out in order to get to that. Again, poor design. There's plenty of room on top. Hello? You know. The same with the fuse box. I had mentioned that a few times. The fuses were the glass fuses, old-fashioned type, in an opened fuse type box, if that's what you want to call it, which was also in here. So if you blow a fuse, you're never going to be able to check them unless you start taking the whole top off of this, which also has all the modules Velcro to it for the voice changer. So that was another mistake. I think I told you what I did. Yeah, I ran all the wires back out to here. I put in the blade fuses. If a fuse blows, the lights light up. It has a cover on it, and it goes right here, so when you open up the back end, you can see the fuses. It's right next to the on-off switch. I changed the on-off switch instead of up-down to left and right, and I marked it with a label: run, charge, center off. So when you go to charge it, you put it on charge. I took the back plug back here, which is a 2-pin plug, which is out here, and I brought that in, and I brought it in through the switch. So now you can just plug the charger into this. You don't have to open this up and hook it to the battery, because that's the way it was designed to do. So at that point, you know, we made it a lot easier. You can just plug in here, flip the switch to charge, and hope for the best. So now it's just a matter of rewiring everything, because everything had to come apart, and try to figure out what's what and where's what. So that's where we're at, guys. And Ray picked up a little remote, 4-channel remote. He was trying to get the 8-channel. The 8-channel definitely would have been better to have, but the 4-channel is going to be a big difference, because hopefully it's not going to run the drive section as far as forward, backwards, you know, twist and turn, you know, that type of stuff. However, it will do a lot of running with the lights and all that kind of stuff, so to help eliminate a lot of the wire that's screwed up in there to start with, because I had to rewire a lot of that just to make all that shit work. And we can probably turn on the voice changer with it as well and turn off. So, and we'll take that little piece that comes with that and just Velcro it to the top of the control board or the control head, and hopefully we'll be all set there. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to try to bug Ray one more time, because 2 of us working on this wire system may go a little faster, and there's plenty of room, and there's, between the 2 of us, you know, we always have a floor plan going of some sort. You know, he may think of something that I don't, I may think of something that he don't. You know, you start looking at something long enough, and it's hard to get off that track, you know, because you keep looking at it and you keep coming up with the same solution that's not working, but you're stuck into that mode and you just keep doing circles. So by having another person say, oh, time out, you know, let's change the track, you know, sometimes that helps. So I'm going to see if I can bug him to get over here. I think I got the bilge pump working and everything. I got the squirter pump down there. That was laying sideways. I don't know how it ever worked. So what I did was I used some hot glue and a little epoxy, and epoxied it right to the side. I'm going to make it so you're going to be able to fill it from the door. You open the door and you're going to be able to fill it. This is just a temporary makeup funnel that I'm using right now. But at that point, I may even connect the fill to this. This way, you can just hit the button and fill this tank up from this tank, because this tank is a lot easier to fill. You just have to open that up. And that's also the one that runs the bilge pump, to show everybody, you know, what a bilge pump does and make it look more active. You can soak somebody's shoes when they're standing next to you. And then hopefully don't get sued. So, the squirter, I'm not crazy about that either. I may change that, because you don't want to squirt somebody that may have on decent clothing to where water may destroy it. Especially if the water's been sitting in there a while. You don't know what it's collected or what it hasn't collected. So I may just put a microphone or a light or something up in the front, And if I do hook up the squirter, I may hook it up in the stack. On the top part, there's a stack, a chimney stack. I may put it up in there so that it just squirts up. You know, so they may get a little mist here and there, but they're not going to be getting hit directly with it. And yet it's showing, you know, that there's something there. Yeah, and if they even wanted to, they could put a little container of dry ice in there. So when they get a little squirt, the smoke from the ice will follow the water up, and it'll look like a smokestack. But anyway, I'll tell you what, the stuff that I can do with this thing to make it really, really pop, but I don't want to get involved. The budget isn't there, first of all. Even if it was, would I want to waste it on a lot of things that it doesn't have, just because I think it can do it? If this was my piece, I'd be doing it. But if it was my piece, nobody'd be using it either. And I have no use for it, so I don't need it. But meanwhile, that's where we're at so far.